Hey all, here OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the Gimme Reason 1. This is an Alexa-enabled smart alarm clock that sells for just $19. Now, Gimme is actually a subsidiary of Xiaomi, which is a very big electronics company based in Beijing, China, primarily known for making smartphones, but also smart home appliances. And just a few months ago, we checked out their own version of this smart alarm clock that actually looks identical to this Gimme alarm clock. The only difference is Xiaomi's version's smart assistant is developed by themselves, and it only works with Mandarin or Chinese. So it only really makes sense if you are a Chinese speaker or if you live within China. So this Alexa version of this smart alarm clock can, of course, recognize English and makes a lot more sense here in the US market and perhaps also in Europe. Ask it to buy things from Amazon, ask it to set an alarm or reminder, a countdown, or to turn off lights if you have other smart IoT appliances inside of your house which are connected to Wi-Fi. So it features what they call far-field voice control because there are multiple microphones around the parameter of the alarm clock that can pick up your voice more easily. Now, inside of the box, we have the smart alarm clock itself, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. There's also access to the wall adapter, and it has the Gimme logo on it. It takes a standard USB port. We also have the cable, which is using micro USB, and we also have a quick user manual that just tells you how to download the companion app when setting it up for the first time. It's called the Reason app, and you can find it both on iOS and Android. As a quick size comparison, here it is next to the Xiaomi's Xiaomi version of the smart alarm clock, as aforementioned, that we reviewed a few months prior, and you can see that no surprises, it's identical in terms of hardware, it's recycled, it's just the smart voice assistant has been swapped to Alexa, which is kind of interesting. So we even have the exact same precision holes on the outside rim of the alarm clock, which are housing all of the microphones for picking up your voice, just like on the previous generation model. The bodies of both of these alarm clocks are made out of a polycarbonate plastic, which looks pretty clean. There's a switch on the very top that you can tap on for both to mute the microphones. It's a manual kill switch, which is nice for security. And then on the base here, both of them are using the same kind of rubber material that prevents them from sliding around on a surface or a desk, except now instead of the Mi logo, we have the Gimme logo. And then finally on the rear, we have the speaker, that's where the sound comes out of for the alarm, and also the micro USB port there for power. The companion application is called Reason Home. We can tap on it, and then from here we're able to, for example, say, add a device. Now we can see that there is a proximity light sensor because as something gets closer to the display, it does get a little bit dimmer. So if it is in a less brightly lit environment, like in the dark, it will adjust the display brightness automatically to not make it as blinding. We will then tap on the Wi-Fi router that we have to share the password with the alarm clock so that the alarm clock can then be connected to the internet. And we can now integrate it with our Amazon account to personalize it and also set it up so that if you're doing shopping, it knows which account to charge. For example, if you're purchasing things online through Amazon. It now tells us some quick things that we can ask it to do as some example scripts. Set an alarm for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Alarm set for 9 a.m. tomorrow. Would you like this alarm set for every weekday?
Yes.
Alarm set for every weekday at 9 a.m.
So as you can see that when you're talking to it, it changes to a blinking face, which is pretty cute. So we can see here how on the app, that it's now been updated and we have one alarm set in 11 hours and 18 minutes from now, which will ring. And we can tap on this to take a closer look at it. We can actually edit it and actually add up to 5 different alarms just from this app. So it will update all the information that you input into the cloud, and you can change it from the companion application as well. Now the application is really simple, so that's basically the extent of it because you don't really need to do anything else. As far as other questions you want to ask, you can just talk to your assistant directly. But other things that you can change include the device's name, you can change the time zone, whether you want it to be 12 or 24 hours for the display format, whether you want the night mode to be turned on manually, which will dim the display at the minimum setting, and you can also adjust the volume controls from here as well and check if there's any firmware updates. So let's try some other tests of questions that we can ask. Tell me a joke.
Actually, my friend Jimmy Fallon wants to tell a joke. Let's give him a shot.
What did the horse say to the scarecrow? Hey!
Now the microphones on here do seem to be very sensitive thanks to that far field reception. So even if you're pretty far away, it should still be able to do the trick. Let's do a quick test of that. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Sammamish, there will be mostly sunny weather, with a high of 52 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 28 degrees.
Now the top button actually works in 3 different ways. If you're using it as a regular alarm clock in the morning and it rings, you can tap on it once to snooze and sleep for 5 minutes more. You can also use it to disable the alarm. Now, the second way you can use it is to ask questions for the assistant. If you don't want to use the keyword, you can tap once and then begin speaking. So for example, sing me a song.
Up in the hills, the campfire roars, graham crackers snap in 2s, 3s, and 4s.
The third way is to mute and the kill switch to turn off the microphones to prevent anything from being recorded. You can do this by long holding on this key for 3 seconds until it turns red. Some observations to point out would be it doesn't have a built-in battery or a backup battery for that matter, so if you unplug it from the wall, just like the previous alarm clock, it will turn off. But when you plug it back in, of course, it will automatically sync up to the correct time because it will reconnect to your Wi-Fi. Now, it's not really meant for playing music exclusively, more meant for asking quick questions and using it as an alarm, but it works all right, I'd say. It gets plenty loud, it doesn't distort too much at higher volumes. So this is probably one of the most affordable ways to add Amazon Smart Assistant to your house at only, again, $19. It's ultra affordable. It's actually pretty cute as well as far as the expressions that it can make, highly functional, and a really good value that works surprisingly well. It is a little surprising to see them use kind of a competitor to build this product just because Xiaomi does have their own solution for it. But nonetheless, it is a very interesting product, so if you are looking for a smart alarm clock that doesn't break the bank, this is a good option to take a closer look at. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Gimme, a subsidiary of Xiaomi, Reason 1 Smart Alarm Clock.